Welcome back, folks, to another episode. Here, let me restart that. Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Vulnerability Time. I am your host and published author, Josias Abril, and welcome to episode 10. We'll be talking about suffering in silence, finding oneself, and that whole word of failures. It's definitely a word that has many definitions, and we're going to see what we're talking about today. But first, before we get into those topics, let me introduce you to a new special guest, Sneha. Hey, Queen.
Alright. Hi, my name is Sneha. I am currently a student at Texas A&M, so I'm getting my master's and I'm graduating tomorrow. So
Oh, wait,
I'm
what? You're graduating tomorrow.
yeah, I
Shut
graduate tomorrow at
up.
9 a.m. and I've been running around like a dog all day today,
Not a
getting my life
dog.
together.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. So, like, what is your degree in?
So once I finished my bachelor's in biomedical sciences pre-med,
Mhm.
I said, you know what, let me go get a master's because I kind of want to take some time off. I don't want to jump straight into med school.
Mhm.
And so I actually am graduating with a master's in medical sciences. So I had doubts about myself and if I could make it through med school. So I took a medical sciences master's. And that way we took classes like the first year medical students actually take.
Okay.
And so now I'm more confident in going to med school. And so yeah,
Yes.
because I know I can do it. So,
Yes. Yes, Queen. You see, you never know unless you know. And you how can you know? You got to try. I love that.
right.
So why med school? Why the med school route?
Well, so a lot of people that are close to me know that I'm from India
Mhm.
originally, and I
Oh,
was
What part India?
I'm the South, like the very tippy South.
Okay.
So for me, it was more like I want to make an impact on global health. So
Mm.
not just I want to be a doctor, I'm gonna move to the city and work. No, I'm more of like, okay, I want to go to the rural areas and work in the rural areas.
Mhm.
Mainly because I have family members who, didn't have access to healthcare and their lives were miserable because health is wealth. So,
Oh, I like that saying.
yeah. So,
Yes.
you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy and you're sick and you're in pain, it's not going to really be worth it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I just want to bring healthcare to every nook and cranny of the world.
Yeah. See, and that's really needed, and I also like how you emphasize the whole, rural aspect.
Right.
That's something that I'm passionate about as well, is like rural communities, specifically within America currently. However, I'm passionate about it like all rural communities, um,
Right.
just in, around the world. Because that's something new that I'm learning is, rural communities around the world. I honestly didn't even know that that was like a thing. I
Yeah.
always, yeah. So I'm currently, what I like about my graduate degree program is, it has a huge focus on rural communities, whereas a lot of graduate degree programs in social work just have like a huge main focus on urban communities. So I like the fact that this is why this is one of my dream schools that I'm at, because of the rural community focus. And I think it's really interesting that you just mentioned rural communities globally,
Yeah.
because that's something I just now learned like recently. So that's pretty cool because I want to work with rural communities. By the end of my life, I want to have worked or be working with rural communities.
Yeah, it's just a little
Yes.
bit more satisfying to bring it. And then just,
Yeah.
it's not even about going there and treating them for the moment. It's like there's so much power in education. So, like, being
Mm-hmm.
able to educate them, like, this is how you're supposed to wash your hands before you eat, this is how you prevent
Mm-hmm.
diseases, stuff like that. You're going to make a way bigger impact doing that than just going there for like 2 weeks and giving them their vaccines and then leaving.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
Yeah. And that's the
yeah,
thing, like rural community, just in general, whether it's domestically or internationally, rural communities, there seems to be like they're very overlooked.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it's like it's less people in rural communities, it's more people in urban communities. So yeah, but I love that you have that passion. That's what we need. That's what we need on this earth. We need people to care about, the people that go overlooked. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that.
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm loving that. Um so Queen, so our top, do you mind if I call you Queen or Sneha? What do you?
Yeah, whatever you feel like. The queen is empowering me right now,
It
so
is. It
it
should
is.
be. Yes, it's just the truth.
Right.
Um, by the way, for y'all that don't know, I met Sneha in high school. The Queen, I met her in high school. Um, we were both different people back then. Um,
Definitely.
so I'm ready to catch up and hear her growth. And, part of that, is finding oneself. And I know that that's one of our topics. So I want to start there, Queen. Finding oneself. What does that mean to you? What
Well,
is your
I think
story with that?
what I've learned over the course of I'm 25 now, so 25 years basically is it's like an ongoing journey.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, sometimes you look at it and it's so tiring and you're just like, "Oh my God, like what if I just had it all figured out?"
Yeah.
But if you look at life like that and you look at your life like that specifically, there's just no thrill. It's sort of boring, if
Mm-hmm.
you had it all figured out from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, like I said, my original plan was to go straight from high school, straight into college, straight into med school, graduate, get married, have kids, three kids specifically,
Mm-hmm.
two girls, one boy. Like I had this image in my head that this is the person I am at such a young age,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how I want to be when I grow up. That when life started happening and things started changing and things were not going according to my plan,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, me now and me back in high school or middle school, totally different person. And I
Mm-hmm.
would never think, like, now I don't really think of marriage and think, oh yeah, I want to get married, I want to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's so far in my future,
Mm-hmm.
for me specifically. So I think finding yourself is just, you just gotta like be a be in life, do life with a very open mind.
Yeah.
And then you're going to come across opportunities and experiences, and then you're going to pick and choose. You're going to be like, oh, well, I don't really like this, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't really
Right.
like that, but this is so weird. Like, I never thought
Yeah.
I'd like this, but I love this.
And
And
that's the
I,
thing. It's making it that's what I like what you said. It also sounds like, learning oneself is a part of the
Mhm.
journey of finding oneself. Um I just wanted to just add that in there. That's what my
Yeah,
observation.
yeah,
Yes. And
yeah. So you change, and
yeah.
change is okay. It's uncomfortable, but it's so important, and it's
Yeah.
so okay to change.
What are if you want to share, if not, it's totally okay. On this podcast, myself and the audience, we respect boundaries. And we thank you for, even being on here. Yes, Queen. We love it when a queen is on. Um, what are some things that you learned about yourself, or you said when life comes in and like kind of can change and shift things. So what are a couple things that helped you find slash learn yourself on the process of finding yourself?
So the biggest thing for me is just the topic of mental health and what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a very like conservative, like a home. Since we're from India, like mental health isn't really discussed in my culture.
Mm-hmm.
We just sort of like depression, that's for the weak, and then
Mm-hmm.
like deal with it. Like people have problems. Be glad you have a roof over your head and you're getting an education and food. So for me, it was just growing up. It was hard for me to process like my emotions
Mm-hmm.
because life wasn't going the way like I had originally planned for it to go.
Right.
I unknowingly started becoming super depressed and like super like anxious because I there was just so much
Mm.
uncertainty. And I know one thing about myself, I don't like uncertainty at all.
Right.
Like
Right. Yeah. Same. So
certain
same.
degrees of uncertainty are okay, but like if I'm just not certain about like what my life is even going to be, like remote clue,
Right.
that's gives me so much anxiety. And so at one point, when I was like applying for med schools and like trying to get prepared, it was just an overwhelming feeling. And I was so uncertain about the fact that, are you going to get in? And one thing about pre med is you could do everything and then some, and then they'll be like, you're not like good enough, you know?
Right.
So, like, that plus not being able to like talk to someone about my feelings and
Right.
like let it out. Like you want your family to be there for you, but your family doesn't really know how to be there for you.
Right. Yeah.
So initially it was like that anger, and I'm just like, why can't people just understand? And then I had to look at it from their point of view. Like my parents growing up, they didn't have a concept of depression or anxiety. Like to them, it was
Mm-hmm.
just, oh, it's life. We got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Let's move
Yeah.
on. So I think like for me now, that was just a huge factor and
Mm-hmm.
good things and bad things. Like I struggle with anxiety to this day and I know like I have moments like seasonal depression and I'll just know when I'm getting depressed and I'm trying to like have good coping mechanisms so I can make it through.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are things that are like that really change you when you like acknowledge that there's a problem with you and it's okay that you feel this way.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you just need to find a way to help yourself. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
can't just always rely on other people to like understand who you are and how you feel. It's
Mm-hmm.
like do whatever you can. Rely on whoever is there for you to help you and
Mm-hmm.
pull you up.
Yeah. That that makes a good point. You make a good point. Like, I know that within a lot of cultures, and whether that is, just a lot of cultures in general, it is that type of let's see, outlook or mindset, or oh, there we go, conditioning of, you know, because you have a roof over your head and food to eat, that problems don't exist anymore. you know and I do, I see where I hope this is where the intent is coming from, is that there are things to be grateful for that you do have, because things could be worse without it. However, that statement, oh, you have this and you have that, so therefore you shouldn't be um, um, in any other place except happiness. Um, I mean that, and I see what they mean. However, those statements like that can unintentionally invalidate someone's experience and someone's,
Hmm.
what they're suffering with. So like, I mean, I've heard that a lot. Like, well, you have this, but and you have that, and no one is immune to mental health. No one is immune to struggles. You know what I mean? Like, you can have all the money in the world. That doesn't mean that, depression can't find you. Life can happen, and good or bad can, things can happen, and so I mean, I appreciate you sharing that, because that is something that, a lot of people also struggle with. um and we, unintentionally internalize those statements, of like, okay, why am I going through this? I have this, so I should be grateful. And it's like, just because you're suffering doesn't mean you're not grateful for what you do have. It's just saying that, you know, yeah, this is great what I do have. However, I'm still struggling. I'm still suffering, Um, so I mean, I'm relating when you say that, I'm tracking with you. I've heard that so much, and I
Yeah.
even
And
have to fight. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, it makes you feel guilty when people
Yeah.
say things like, "Oh, but you have all these things. So like what could you possibly be sad about?" And it's like then you start thinking like, "Oh, yeah, like you're right. I do have everything. I really shouldn't be complaining." And so
Right.
you're suppressing the feeling, you're suppressing, and then this
Hmm.
is how mental breakdowns happen.
Yeah.
Because I was the type person to be like, and I still am, if I do admit so myself,
Hmm.
I brush my problems under a rug and just pray to God that they disappear. And I used to go to therapy,
Hmm.
and she was the one that told my therapist told me like, I can tell you have like this tendency of like brushing things under the rug and then for trying to preoccupy yourself with something else to forget it. And
Hmm.
then it just bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. And then when it surfaces, it's ugly. And I'm like, I mean, I don't like that you're telling me about myself, but
Hmm.
you're real. Like honestly, you're telling me exactly, what I do.
Right.
And that's when you pick up a journal, you start writing. Like the
Hmm.
moment you feel like crazy, because in my journal, you'll see beautiful handwriting one day and then scribbling
Yeah.
the next because all I'm trying to do is dump my thoughts out.
Right. To
Because
get it
that's,
out the mind. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's good to it's actually, psychologically proven, that that can definitely be a form of healing to the mind. It's kind of in a way kind of like tricks the mind of getting its thoughts out. So in the realm of journaling, since we're on that topic, how has that helped you? Do you feel like that has helped you, in your journey?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been journaling since I think I was like 7 or 8.
Hmm. Oh,
Initially it started
wow.
off Yeah, it initially started off very childish. Like my dad got us cute little diaries with lockets. Back in the day, that's what the
Yeah.
craze was about. So I would write in my diary, and I thought it was so cute. Like so, then there was like a gap. I think it was like a year or so where I didn't journal, and then one day I just sort of picked up a random notebook and started writing, and I journal continuously all the way until college. Now, granted, I have series like different books, and then you can go back and read like different parts of my life and how my thoughts were back then.
Hmm.
Um, right now, I actually do have a journal that I've had for a while. I haven't finished the book yet because life gets hectic sometimes. And,
Yeah.
initially I used to feel so bad that I'm not journaling every day, but then I had to tell myself, like, it's not a task, it's an outlet. And it's sort of
Hmm.
like a hobby. So it's like, just do it whenever you can. It's okay. And
Yeah.
so whether I'm happy, sad, whatever, I just want a space to spill my thoughts and not be judged for it. I'm
Right.
there.
Right. Right.
Um,
That
so
see,
yeah, no
yes, I
journal.
I agree. And this is my journal. Look at it. Look at it. It's so cute. It's got its little
It's so pretty.
locket, and
Yeah.
look at the pages. Isn't
First of all,
that cute?
don't bring that journal near me because
Girl,
I
I
will
got
steal
this
it.
on Amazon, and it's like what, $9, maybe even less.
Stop.
It's super cute because I need to hold myself accountable, like to journal. Like I love writing. I'm a great writer. I mean, I'm literally an author. I'm literally a published author. Y'all can buy my book on Amazon. Y'all already know what it is. It is Spoken by Trenton Epizon. That is my book. But remember, my name is being legally changed, folks, to Josias April. But anyways, yes. So in order for me to like get started on writing, like I have to like
Journal.
it has to be something super cute that I have to get. Like it makes me, oh, now I like really now I want to write, even though like mentally, I definitely should be writing. Like even if I'm in like a mental darkness where I know I need to be writing, or if I'm just doing nothing with my time, I could be writing or doing something productive with my time. But I just don't. Sometimes I
Hmm.
just don't because I'm like, so this helps hold me accountable. I was like, now that I have like an actual like really cute journal, like it's so aesthetic. I love it. I was like, it intrigues me to write.
I wish I could show you
Yes.
mine because mine kind of looks like that, but it's like a brownish one. It's all brown and it has
Oh,
sort of like those type of pages, but like,
yes.
and it has cute little like engraved like drawings, patterns on there. And it's so cute.
Oh,
It's
that's
really
so
cute.
cute.
But
I
I don't
love
know, like
that.
whatever helps you in that moment, because coming to the topic of this new culture of like this hustle mindset,
Mm,
I can't do it. I've realized that about myself and I'm okay with that because it's
yeah,
like I just want to be financially stable to
right,
support my lifestyle. As lavish or not so lavish that may be,
right.
But I don't understand like money should be serving you, not you serving money. So if you're
Ooh,
slaving all
can you say that
every
again?
day, yeah, money should work for you. Like you shouldn't work for money. Like it should
Mm,
be you got to work smarter and not harder. If you're working, obviously some people aren't in the position and don't have the like leisure to just work one job and be okay with it, but and be able to support their families. So for those people to actually like work multiple jobs and take care of their families, I applaud them and I like very much respect their work ethic. But if you're in a position where like you can work, like you have a really good job and you're fine with that, you know, there's so much more to life than working all the time. And, because even the people that do have to work two or three jobs to help their family, if you go ask them, they'll be like, yeah, like if I didn't have to work two or three jobs, I wouldn't because I tried to spend time with my kids. I tried to
mm-hmm.
spend time with my pets or go out and spend time with nature or do
Yeah.
something that's fun for me. Um, so yeah, make money work for you.
Mm.
Don't work for money.
Right. That's something that I want to, always remember is, yes, it's okay to have money, but don't let money have you. That's something that statement made me think of. I know it's kind of different, but like that's what that made me think of, because I've seen what money can I we give money value. That's just how it's just working in human nature. We give money value, and a lot of times money is more important than people. um that's not true, but that's a reality that is happening, that money
Right.
is more important than a human life. And it's just like I forgot where I was going with this, but that's just something that made me think of, oh yeah, like you said, that hustle lifestyle. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I've seen a lot of these videos and posts on Instagram saying, you shouldn't be working a 9 to 5, and you got to wake up at 3 a.m., things like that. And this is the thing, you know I feel like that's something that's not fair to folks who, you know work a 9 to 5. If that's the that like if if that's putting food on the table, and then you're content, you know what I mean, do that. I've seen a lot of shame on people who aren't in the hustle culture, and I'm like, there are people who work super hard but don't get paid a lot, and there are people who are billionaires and don't do nothing,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's like,
Like,
you can always, like, it's just like, that's what I'm saying, like, the most wealthy people are people who are wealthy in the heart, because the richest person can be poor in the heart. Like, like, if they're living just, money, 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 they're having all this money, and they will never have enough, and they're, missing time spending with their loved ones, things like that. I'm like, you can always make money back, but you cannot make time back. You can't get that back, you know
yeah.
um and now I sure in the hell would like to find out. I would let I was like, go ahead and give me $1 billion, and let's see
Right.
let's see what I do with it. I'm, been let me be quiet.
Right.
I'm not gonna go over there. But I want. I was like, I would not be upset. Now that I've been humbled, and I'm just humbled in that area. Um, I don't know. But anyways, let me get Jeff Bezos on here and let me see what he has to say.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like if he wants to give me $1 million, I'm gonna be the last person to say no. Sure, go right ahead. If
Right.
I win a lottery, I'm not complaining. I will take the money. But
Right.
all I'm saying is money does hold value, yes, but it can't hold value over time
Mm,
because there's just only 24 hours in a day,
right.
and 8 of those hours you have to sleep. And
Yeah.
honestly, this hustle culture where they're like, oh yeah, like you get up, you go work, and then you go work out, and then you go do this, and you go do that. Listen, I'm not a gym person.
Right.
I never see the inside of a gym continuously for the rest of my life. I won't. I'll have phases where I'm working out like for 2 months and then I'll stop for 2 years and then I'll go back to working out 2 months. And I'm okay with that. Like initially I was just like, dang, like I just want to be like all the other Instagram girls, like have a
Right.
workout routine in the morning, wake up super
Right.
early, go to work, come back, do school. I can't. I'm old.
Right.
I'm getting old. I can't do all that. Some days when it's cold out, I don't want to wake up at 5 in the morning. I don't.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Right.
Especially if
Yeah.
I don't have
No.
to go to class till 10. Like, I'm not getting up at 5. Do what?
Right.
And do what?
Right. And that's the thing. That's the thing. And it's like this society. There are gonna be people that will always be judging people. I mean, like it's like this society cannot be happy because it's going to always be changing. Like first off, like if they see a person on the street, homeless person, they're automatically going to assume and say, well, you need to get a job, you need to get a job. And let's say if that person gets a job, a 9 to 5, then there's a whole other uh group of people that are going to say you shouldn't be working a 9 to 5, you need to be a billionaire. I was like, let people be. If they're doing the best that they can. You know what I mean? I was like,
Right.
I
Right.
I guarantee you, like if that person is happy, has loved ones, and they are spending time with them, and they're just enjoying the time that they do have, at the end of this life, I want to ask which one has the most regrets.
Right.
Which one?
Like,
Is it the billionaire who time is money. At
mhm.
the end of your life, you're going to see no, time is not money. No, time is not money. Time is more than money. Though with time you can make money, but like you can't get time back. You can get money back. You cannot get time back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes, there's those parallels, but they don't stay a parallel. Yeah, no, money is not time. Does that make sense?
No, it makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree with you too.
Yes.
But
So I mean, I like that you pulled up that fact, and speaking of hustle culture, it brings that shame of failure, like your failure because you're not a billionaire by the age of 22. I'm like, that's not realistic. That's not, I'm just like, first off, we live in a world where, the top don't want everybody to be billionaires. I'm just going to say it right there.
right.
Yeah, let me just going to say that. I'm going to be quiet because I don't want to get shot. But,
Okay. Okay,
right?
so
I was like, I'm not
we're thinking
trying to,
about the same thing. Okay, I'm glad you peeped it too because I seen it and I was like,
yeah,
okay. So
right?
now we
Yeah,
know why everyone to be rich.
right.
I thought that was the agenda.
Exactly. And I was like, ooh, folks, I'm gonna be quiet because I don't want to get shot. But folks, just, do research on, how money works and how money controls, and I'll let you just decide for yourself. You know what? That's right. This is what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say, I'm not getting I'm not getting shot. Okay. So what I'm gonna say is, do research for yourself, folks, and you make your own decision. There we go. There we go. It's I'm just saying, be informed. Be informed, that's all I'm gonna say. Be informed, folks. If you're not a billionaire by 22, if you're not a billionaire ever, uh It's okay. Trust me, it is more than okay.
You're probably better off not being a billionaire
Yeah,
ever.
there we go.
Like, the
Yeah.
more money, the more problems. Have y'all not heard? Like,
Yes, and the more money, the more corruption. But let me shut up. That's none of my business.
right,
Like that's none of my business.
right.
It is
Listen, something happened to us. Y'all
right,
know. Y'all know.
right. But but yeah,
Yeah.
no, let me stop because this podcast is in the top 30% shared globally and the top 14% most followed podcast. Thanks to y'all out there, love y'all. But yeah, let me be quiet. Let me be quiet. Ah, yes. If y'all don't hear from me, it's cause Nick Jonas finally proposed to me. That's what it is. And he just yes. But
And I'm at
anyways,
their wedding.
when it going back to the whole for example, like ooh, something I wanted to talk about like in high school, like you said, you're a different person now, same here, because and it's sad that it, I feel like in life it's just more beneficial to grow and to learn than to just be stuck in the same you know place, because how are you growing, how are you learning yourself, how are you learning others, um but like there's just when it comes to mental health, I was struggling with that, especially in high school, because of my faith, my faith was so new to me then. um it it was a huge help um then because it was so new to me. But a lot of people don't know this, but like I think I told you this, but my freshman year in high school, I had a suicide attempt. In fact, I completed the attempt actually, and then I got sent back to Earth. Um, but it was either February 21st or February 23rd, 2013. I killed myself. I don't know if it was the 21st or the 23rd, but it was one of those damn days, and I'm currently trying to have my birth date legally changed. My not my birth year, my birth date legally changed. That's actually a hard process, but we gonna try. Don't know until you try. Um,
Oh,
yeah. So and mental health, it was a huge part of it. I was always bullied during high school. It really lessened my senior year when I really started to like have a voice, or like find a little bit of the voice. Um but yeah, it was horrible. I was going through a lot of emotional abuse, a lot of sexual abuse, a lot of physical abuse, verbal abuse. It was just so much abuse compact into one, and I started self-harming, it's and it's like a lot of this, though I didn't know how to talk about it, a lot of this I wasn't taught to talk about it. You know, not only was it like a cultural thingy, not only because it was stigma, it's just, it's already hard enough to talk about it. But I feel like if we lived in a society or in a culture where, this was more talked about, for example, how it is now, though a lot of things are more stigmatized, I feel like if how society was then, how it is now, I would be able to talk a little bit more about things like this. Um, so, hmm. But I just know that's a thing, how external forces and internal factors play a part in, how your mental health journey can go and how it can grow. Um,
mhm.
yes. So, I
Well,
don't know.
I do remember that incident, and I'm actually really sorry you had to
Wait, you
go through
remember
that.
what?
Your suicide attempt in 2013?
You remember that? How? Did I tell you back then?
No, but I know your brother.
Oh.
So it was just like a whole, but we were pretty close back then. I had an
Yeah.
idea. I just didn't want to like be blunt and
Yeah.
ask you because sometimes you're not ready to share that.
When he talked about
And
it, did he say it like, ugh, he tried to do that? Like, did he like play it off like culturally, stigmatically?
no, no. And it
Interesting.
was more like this happened and, I guess he was just as confused as to why, but from what I can remember,
Yeah.
but it's just like, I don't know. Your freshman year of high school was my freshman year of college.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, like
Wait,
I'm sorry you
what?
had,
We met each
yeah,
other in
like
high school. What do you? What?
no, I'm saying like how your freshman year of high
Oh.
school was. It was like that type of like emotional processing I
Mm.
went through my freshman year of college.
Okay,
Now,
gotcha.
in high school, it wasn't like I was dating the quarterback or anything,
Hmm.
I was right there, just minding my business every once in a while, getting bullied but I've been bullied my whole life.
Yeah.
Uh, like kids would like spit in my food. It was just bad, like
Hmm.
because I was a very like quiet, mellow person. And
Hmm.
it wasn't until freshman year of college when I really started saying, like, fuck it all. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Can we
Oh,
curse
this is
on
vulnerability time. We cuss. We say
here?
fuck,
Okay.
shit, piss. We say it all.
Yeah, so like I was just like, no, fuck this. Like I have to
Yeah.
stand up for myself. Like if it's not gonna be me, then who's gonna take care of me? Like who's gonna stand up for me? I just had enough of people's crap and abuse. Like
Hmm.
everyone was just always like, oh, you're pretty, but like only if you had an ass.
Yeah, it's like this,
Shut up.
and it's just like that's what I'm saying. Society will not be happy. There are some people who look at me and they're like, I wish I was as skinny as you. And then there's some people that are just like, you need to gain some weight. And then
Yeah,
I'm
like eat a
also
Big Mac. And you're just
right,
like, I do eat Big Macs.
right,
Like
I do. I was like, fun fact, I have an eating disorder. Thank you. I'm like,
yeah,
thank
and they don't
you.
even know. Like my
Yeah.
freshman year of college and sophomore year and junior year was so toxic
Mm,
that I started having actual health issues. Like,
yeah.
um, my doctor was like saying, hey, like if you keep going down this route, I'm gonna have to have a conversation with you about anorexia.
Hmm.
And she's like, and once you get to that point, it's gonna be really hard to bring you back.
Yeah.
And so she sort of scared me because I didn't even realize that my mental health and how much stress I was in was pushing me down
Hmm.
that road. And
Hmm.
like, again, like now I'm failing at something else. And it just made my mental health even worse.
Hmm.
And you keep digging yourself into this hole. And then at one point you stop and you're like, shit, I don't know how to get out.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so now you're stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like for me, that 1 year between my master's degree and my bachelor's degree meant the world because I kind of think it just saved me from all the stress and
Hmm.
potentially like an eating disorder. Like, I had to go see a doctor and be on strict antibiotics to get my stomach back right. It
Hmm.
would be like I would be hungry, I'd want to eat, and I eat a little bit, and then I throw it up because my body was like, no, bitch.
Yeah.
Or I went like 2 days, stressed about exams and just life in general. I went 2 days without eating and didn't even realize it until
Right.
like the second day. I'm like about to pass out on campus. And then my sister was like, when's the last time you ate? And I'm like, oh shit, like 2 days ago. I've
Yeah.
been living off of like sips of water and just
Yeah.
chilling, like and coffee. And and you just let yourself like sort of go.
Right.
And it's sad because it's like when people are like, "Oh my God, you're so skinny," or "Why are you so skinny? You look sick."
Hmm.
Like my family, like in my culture, there's no like, oh, people don't know how to talk to people. People really don't. They'll just
Hmm.
come to you and be like, "Sneha, why do you look so sick? Like, why are
Hmm.
you so skinny? If you look so ugly because you're so skinny, like you need to put on some weight."
Right.
And deep down, I know they don't mean like they're not trying
Yeah.
to offend me,
Right.
but it's like
Right.
you got to know how to talk to people because your
Right.
words may mean everything to them. And
Yeah.
it may be that last thing they need to hear to make the wrong decision or
Hmm.
make the right decision. So that's why like there's so much power in words. So like people that are
Right.
saying like you may never know that they don't want to be here anymore. You may never know that
You
they're
may
like
never know.
suicidal.
Exactly. Exactly.
And like you're just out here saying, "Oh my God, you're ugly. Oh my God, why is your body like this?" Or "Why did you do that? Like you're such a terrible person." Or "Why are you like this?" That
Right.
might push them over the edge to make the bad decision. And then what are you gonna do? Cry that they're gone? And it's sort
Right.
of like there's no point in you crying at that point. You should have thought about what you said,
Right.
you know?
Right. Exactly. Right. Right. You know, and that's another thing about like um I'm gonna go back a couple of words that you mentioned. Basically, when you said, oh, you're so pretty, but if you had this, and so that's the thing about society. It people just well, society is constantly changing. You know what I mean? Um, so, for example, back then, um, this was like in the I think what is that called? The Gilded Ages, the Dark Ages. Anyways, or the Middle Ages. Yes, there we go. It was unattractive if you were thin. If you were heavy set, that was attractive, and it was also it was symbolic of wealth. So people assumed if you were like hefty, like that was like the standard, the it standard. You know what I mean? So it's like things change. Like society will never be happy because like right now it's like, oh, thin, is kind of in as long as you like have a big butt, or oh, you're big, oh no. But it's like if that big person lived 400 years ago, 500 years ago, they would be more attractive than the thin person. So it's just like it's it's a societal definition. That's the thing. It's societal definition, and that is dangerous because there's too many definitions. And it's like which one defines me the best, and it's just like I have to learn, and I'm still learning, and I'm doing pretty good now, thankfully. Um, and I'm like, I'm just happy. I like my body as is because at the end of the day, I've had many people tell me I need to be bigger, but I've had a lot of people tell me I wish I was as thin as you. So I'm just like, ain't nobody happy. So I'm just like, nobody's happy. So I'm just like, look,
Right.
I love this. I love this because it was like there is
Right.
someone wishing that they were like this, and there is someone like me wishing that I was bigger. So it's like, you know, I don't know. Does that make sense? I feel like I was kind of confusing.
No, no, it makes sense. And it's just like you just rattle like on about, oh, I like this and I like that. Oh, no, no, I don't like
Hmm.
that. I like this. And it's just it's only dangerous because now we're mature enough to think like, oh, I don't have to fit society standards to
Right.
feel good about myself. But back then, little girl Sneha was just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not even remotely like attractive
Right.
maybe. Like
Right.
it ruins a child's self-esteem
Yeah.
when you say things like that. Like
And that's the
if you
thing.
say I'm sorry, but you're pretty, but you're nice, but
But
take the butt out.
yeah, take the butt out because the word "but" it invalidates the previous statement. Yeah,
Right.
that's the thing, and this is the thing. Like you said, like yeah, like I just started to love and even like my body like a year ago.
Yeah.
A
Same.
year ago, like I am 25, and I just like when I was 24 was when I started to like and love my body because I was always told crap about my body from my I hate saying this word, my brother, my father, like I always because of my brother, like I thought I was ugly until my freshman year of college. Like I thought I was so fucking ugly, and it took me my healing journey in that area because one person, said that I wasn't ugly. And that's what kicked it off, my healing journey. Um
Yeah.
and the thing is like we also look up to these celebrities and we're seeing this all over Instagram of these um acceptable body types. And it's just like little children are looking up to that, and we're not internalizing, oh, this person, they say it's natural, but what if they pay thousands of dollars to get that? You know what I mean? It's just like I can't be happy with my body until I look like that. And it's like and that's the thing. Society makes, like, let me say it like this. Insecurities are a $1 billion industry.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Especially in medicine. I mean, like,
Mm,
it's like, I mean, I'm on the same page with you. Like, even to this day, like, sometimes I'll feel like, I don't want to wear this because it's a little too
mm,
revealing and I'm just not ready for that yet. Like,
yeah, yeah.
and I guess you could say it's insecurity, but like, I don't like that term because it's like
Mm,
I'm not comfortable with it, but that doesn't mean I'm entirely embarrassed about it. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
I'm not trying to cover
okay.
it. I'm just trying to like I want to step out my comfort zone, but little by little. Like I can't
Yeah,
just one day
right,
go in front of everyone and dance. Like I can't because I'm a shy person. I've always been an
right.
introvert. I've always had stage fright and I have such bad anxiety. Like that's not
Mhm,
happening.
right.
So like and I admire people that can do just get up and sing or get up and dance and
Mm,
whatever. But for me, that's uncomfortable. Now, that doesn't mean I'm insecure about myself. It just
right.
means like I'm not comfortable enough to do that yet.
Mm,
Maybe like the more I'm exposed to it, like
mm,
the more, like part of my life I grew up in India. So it's not normal for me to just go out and wear a bikini. So the
yeah.
first time I wore a bikini, I was like really like I was trying to cover myself. And
Mm,
even to this day, like people that know me know like I can't be like I'm just too shy and I dress a little bit more conservative than most people.
mm-hmm.
So when I don't dress as conservative as normally, like I feel a little shy and
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to cover myself and I'm trying to like
Mm,
I couldn't be a waitress just yeah, I can't be a bottle girl. I admire bottle girls who could do that, embrace their
yeah.
bodies, but I'm too shy and that's way out of my comfort zone to do that.
Yeah.
So like and that goes back to like knowing myself and what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not. And that's why I don't like the term insecurities because it's like
Mm,
it's so easy for someone to be like, "Oh, you're insecure." But it's like that word is so damaging and
mm.
it's not necessarily you're insecure, it's just you're not comfortable yet. Like
Ooh.
you can, but maybe that's not even you. Maybe that's not you at all. So maybe that's
Mm.
why you don't want to do it. That doesn't mean you're insecure to it. You just don't want to do it.
I needed to hear that. You taught me something. You
Yeah,
taught me
like just
something.
as and then beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So like
Yes.
listen, you might think I'm ugly, but somebody in this world might think, "Oh, wow, you're finer than Beyonce."
Right, right.
That's
Yeah.
their opinion. So it's so like, and I wish more kids could hear this because I wanted to hear this when I was a child.
Yeah.
And just like beauty is so like, there's no one standard. Like,
Mm, right.
honestly, because you look way more unique than girls and guys that are out here getting their bodies done to fit some agenda that
Yeah.
in the next 10 years, it's going to change. Because remember when we were kids in the 2000s, big booties weren't a thing. It was like,
Right.
petite girls were the
Yeah.
thing. And now it's, like, and now we're kind of going back to that. And I don't know, like, it changed
Yeah.
like the fashion.
Yeah.
So
I've been
you
seeing
can't always keep,
things on social media that's saying in 2023 BBLs are canceled.
okay. So
Yeah,
you can't,
so I'm just like,
you,
here goes society once again.
okay.
Yeah, so
Imagine paying $6,000 going through all that pain to get a BBL. And now in 2023, 2 years later, that's canceled. You're not cool anymore.
right.
I wish kids would realize that it's so much more cooler to stand out than to
Yeah.
fit in.
Yeah.
Like, you know how cool you are to stand out? Everyone will always remember you because you're cool enough to stand out. You're that
Yeah.
weird, awkward, sore thumb. And everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, like that guy? Yeah, the one with the
Yeah.
weird nose? Yes, yes, that
Yeah.
one. The girl with the weird
Yeah.
glasses? Yeah. And
You
then
know,
they
that's
just
the thing
remembered.
that interests me is, a lot of no one makes a change. This is what that made me think of. Might be a little bit off topic, but it's that same principle of, no one makes a change by being like everyone else. Um that whole like they're gonna look at you, you know, like, okay, here's a better example. I guess I'll use me as an example. Like I was like made fun of because, I actually showed emotion, you know what I mean? Because I was vulnerable, and that was always stomped on, always. I was made fun of by that. I was called horrible names by that, you know, and then, now look, like now I'm applauded for it. I'm applauded for it. So I guess someone needs to hear, you know, stay you, stay you, because it's coming up. You will be applauded for being you.
Honestly.
Yeah,
And it's the hardest thing to do, but it's the most worthwhile thing to do,
yeah,
to stay yourself and to be
yeah,
honest with yourself.
yeah.
Because you're going to save yourself a whole lot of bullshit if you're just
Mm-hmm.
honest with yourself. You stay true to yourself despite what other people do or say. Because honestly, you and I were two different people in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at us. Like, if we can change, then the people around us that are judging us all the time, they're changing too.
Yeah.
And then when we become, oh, when it's the trend, then all of a sudden they're going to applaud you for being you. And
Right.
it's just, you shouldn't be you so that one day you get applauded for it. You should just be you because it's fuck everybody else. And
Mm.
I'm here to live my life and not live your life and live up to your expectations or anyone else's expectations for that matter. You just got
Oh
to do
shit.
whatever you
The
feel like
queen
doing.
is teaching me stuff. Okay, so I'm just look. You teaching me a lot of things.
Man,
Wow.
it's because it's just
Oh.
like, I guess I've always grown around people that have, even to this day, like so much, they expect so much out of me. And it's because you set the standard and you're just this studious, like, kid who's like, all you do is study and all you do, you stay out of trouble
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So that's what everyone expects of you. And they don't expect you to change, like, ever. So
Right.
the moment like you fuck up or you mess something up or you just
Yeah.
whatever, everyone's looking at you like, "Oh my God, you
Yeah.
fucked up." As if
Yeah.
like I'm not just as human as they are.
Yes. Yeah, that oh,
So
yeah. And that's also something that reminds me, going back to like the whole body thingy and just, the whole society just can't be happy. I have gone against myself to make others happy. Um in the past I've done this a lot, hid who I was a little, like, dimmed my light a bit to make them happy so that they won't say anything to me, so that they won't be, displeased with me. And then, once I, you know, do what will quote unquote please them, they don't say anything. I don't get an applause or nothing. Um, so I'm like, okay, I pleased you, and now what? Now there's something more that I have to do. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. That was a terrible example. But
no, it makes perfect sense because I've gone through that too. It's like
yeah.
you get done graduating and then they're like, "Well, why aren't you valedictorian?" Excuse me, I
Right, right.
graduated.
I'm like, you shut up. I graduated. Like, you shut up.
Like,
Right,
can we just be happy? Like,
right. Can we just be
please.
happy? Yeah, exactly. That's why we gotta applaud people for where they're at. Because it's like,
Yeah.
it's not easy. It's not, oh,
No,
aren't you valedictorian? I'm like, shut up. You weren't there. You weren't there on those
Honestly,
nights that I struggled to study, the nights where I wanted to quit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
like
You know what? I'm
honestly,
not gonna say like I will say this. I don't know what family is. I literally don't. So when I say this term family, I mean it by DNA, okay? Um, family, you know, has commented and made fun of me for my graduation card, for example. For my undergrad, I put my middle name as Epizon, which is Greek for survivor. Um, I'm a little. They're like, oh, I'm upset that you did that. Completely missing the fact that, you know, one, I'm graduating. Two, none of y'all were there to encourage me as I graduated. I didn't hear a "I'm proud of you." I didn't hear a "keep going." No one was there. In my moments where I wanted to quit because I was in such a deep, dark pit of depression. You know, but I'm like you comment now that I'm on the stage and now you're sitting there like judges, but no one saw what went on behind the stage. And now that I'm on the stage, you're finding something else to pick out. You know what I mean? It's just like, be
and
quiet,
their excuses we're just trying to push you to be better.
right?
And maybe I don't want to be better. Maybe I'm fine right here.
Oh, yeah, that is poetry. I'm going to throw my laptop out of the window. That was poetry.
Maybe I'm fine right here. Has anybody ever
Right.
thought about that?
Fuck you. Fuck you.
That's why, like,
I have a
even for this,
question.
yeah.
Hold on. I'm about to burp. You've actually taught me a lot, actually. I've actually been I've been like, for example, the difference between, that discernment, that internal discernment between embarrassment and insecurity.
Mhm.
Um that whole discernment of, you don't need to keep being you so that people can apply you, just being you cuz fuck everybody else. Facts. You taught me some things,
Yeah,
and it
learn
convicted
about
me and I
people.
needed to hear it. You should have, Queen, have you ever thought about being a guest co-host on an episode of a podcast before ever?
I have never thought about it, but honestly, this is my first time being on a podcast, and
Oh,
I'm truly enjoying myself. And you don't know until you try it. So, yeah, I'm open. Honestly, in this point in my life, I'm open to every opportunity there is in the world. Like, I'm open to try. I
yes.
really am.
And
I'm
I'm
not gonna
proud of
say
you
next year.
because you did this, despite the anxiety. You know what I mean? That can come with this. Let me tell you something. I am proud of you. I'm literally proud of you. I was gonna like stop recording this so I can literally just tell you this one on one. But you know what? I'm like, someone might need to hear this as well. So literally, I'm so proud of you. You have overcome literally 100% of your bad days.
Thank
Like,
you so.
look at you. You're still breathing. The fact that you can still put a smile on. You know what I mean? The fact that even if the best that you did today, Queen, was get out of bed, I am so proud of you because you didn't have to. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't be any less if you didn't get out of bed. You know what I mean? But the fact that you were still enough just in the bed. The fact that you stepped out, that is doing even more than enough. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
Seriously.
you.
And now you got
Thank
to
you.
graduate out of all those events, all those events that came against you that you had every reason to quit. You didn't. You
We,
didn't.
and honestly, I'm proud
Yes.
of you because this podcast is changing lives every one episode at a time. And it's amazing because it's like you're changing lives by telling your truth and then allowing other people to tell their truths. So where no two journeys are the same, everyone has their own journey in life. But the beautiful thing about it is the more people you meet, the more stories you hear, whether you meet
Yeah.
them in person or not, whether you exchange words with them or not, the more
Yeah.
you learn. the more you can relate to and the less you feel alone. And
Yeah.
the less you feel alone, like the better life feels for you in general, the more you
Yeah.
want to keep going.
Yeah.
For me, it's like you have to stop and acknowledge that, hey, you've come this far, good job, pat yourself
Yeah.
on the back,
Yeah.
and pat the next person on the back too for doing their work and coming as far as they are,
Right.
you know. And it's just, failure's not a necessarily a bad thing. It's
Right.
all
Failure is a precursor to success.
good.
Failure teaches you more things than success could ever teach.
And the only time failure becomes a bad thing is
Is
if
when it's
you,
met with give up.
yeah,
Yeah.
is when you sit down and you just give up and you just don't. Everyone fails. There's no such
Hmm.
thing as being perfect. Even the most genius person can be a loser one
Yeah.
day, and the most loser person could be a genius the next day. You never know.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just, everyone fails, and
Hmm.
you don't have to suffer in silence
Yeah.
about it. You can be
Yeah.
open about your failures and just have a talk with yourself, because every time I
Yeah.
failed, I sat down, I cried my cries, and
Yes.
whatever, and prayed my prayers, and I told myself, I said, hey, you got two options from this point forward. You can either stay right here
Hmm.
and dwell on this and be miserable, or you can forget about this failure, pick out the things that you think are important, a lesson from the failure,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
you don't do the same thing again and move forward. And then at your
Hmm.
next failure, make sure you don't do the same thing twice. And
Yeah.
that's how you get your way. That's how you go forge your path towards success and
Hmm.
everything you want in life.
Yeah. And that's something that made me think of is I like to say and tell myself that, and I would tell the students that I would mentor, I'd be like, failure is not the bad guy. It's giving up that's the bad guy. However, we also want to dis I'm working on this currently is discerning the difference between giving up and just taking a break for a bit. Because they can look kind of like the same thing. You know, um, and if someone who is listening, here has quote unquote given up, you're still breathing. So, tomorrow is not impossible for you. You are still breathing. So maybe you haven't given up. You still got another chance. It's not over until it's over. So, um, yeah, so that's an I want to dig into that on an episode one day of, what is really the definition of giving up? Hmm. That's what I'm interested to know. I would just love to have an episode one day of just failure and giving up. Like, what really is that definition? But more so, you know what? Fuck it. Just giving up. What is that definition? What is that definition? Because that term has been looming, at least for me, has loomed over. You know what? Whatever. That'll be on another episode in the future, folks. There we go. But yeah, Queen, I'm gonna be contacting you and see if you wanna co-host.
Yes, I am down. You already
Okay.
got my answer. I'm down. Just tell me when and where, and I'm down. I
Okay.
love working with you. This is so much fun. And to hear your
Yes.
story, it's like actually really empowering as well. So
Oh,
I love it.
thanks, Queen. Oh, with that being said, folks, we thank our special guest, Queen Sneha. Um, if no one has told you today that they love you, please allow me to be the first. I love you and I life you. I send you with grace. I send you with empowerment. Trust me, you are so valuable and you literally have won every single day because guess what? You're still breathing. If all you did today was brush your teeth, if all you did today was get out of bed, if all you did today was stay out of bed, each breath that you take is symbolic of hope and symbolic of belief within yourself. Okay, I promise you, you're not a failure. Just because you have failed, that's not the bad guy. It's giving up. Failure is a precursor to success. If you have failed, applaud yourself because you can't fail something you haven't tried.
Right. At
So,
least you tried.
Yes, yes. So, with that being said, I love y'all, I life y'all, and tune in for next episode. We'll be talking about addiction, trauma journey, and being labeled the bad child.
Ooh.
So, yes, I'll see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
No, you stay on. Hey there, if you liked this episode, go ahead and buy my book on Amazon. What the book is called, type it on Amazon. It is Spoken by Trenton Epizon. Epizon is spelled Epizon. I really would appreciate the support. Give it a review, give it a buy, give it a try, and I promise you, you will not be upset at it. It is a poetry book. It is a very easy, quick read, and it definitely will give you some healing and some insight and some wisdom on abuse, mental health, recovery, the tragedy to triumph. You will love it. Give it a buy, give it a try, and recommend the book and this episode with others. Go ahead and give this podcast a follow and share it with others. You could be the reason that someone is alive tomorrow because you decided to share this episode today. This podcast is about saving lives, healing ourselves and others, and encouraging others and ourselves as well. Thank y'all so much for the support. Love y'all. I life y'all. I will see y'all next episode. You are valuable. You are beautiful. You are still on this earth because you have the strength. Thank you. Bye, folks.